To discuss the coordination between the People's Protection Units and the US-led coalition against ISIS and other issues, joining us from Cambridge, Thomas Jeffrey Miley, the lecturer of political sociology at University of Cambridge. Welcome, Mr. Miley, to our program. After the direct coordination between YPG and the US-led coalition in Kobani, both sides have now again a high-level coordination in Jazir Canton to oust ISIS gangs. In your perspective, what does this mean?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. In my perspective, I think we have to distinguish between the military tasks and the broader political revolutionary tasks that the revolution of Rojava faces. And on the one hand, obviously at a military level, the high levels of coordination with the US-led coalition come as a boon. They're very good militarily for the revolution. However, against the broader context of the political struggle in the Middle East, close coordination with the US-led forces is actually potentially very dangerous for the revolution, because to the extent that the revolution is associated very closely with the forces of imperialism in the region, this is going to be something that is going to make it much more difficult to forge the necessary alliances throughout the Arab world the revolution needs in order to spread and ultimately survive.
Along with this coordination, why is the U.S., who is leading the coalition against ISIS, not opening its diplomatic doors for Rojava, Mr. Miley?
Yeah, this is, I come from the United States of America, and I think that it's important that people in the region have no illusions about what the United States is intending to do in terms of with respect to any kind of alliance with revolutionary forces. The United States is not interested in the self-determination of the peoples in the region, and we have to think about the United States. The United States' geopolitical strategy. The United States is, of course, a member of the leading member of NATO, and Turkey is a NATO country, and so the alliance with Turkey remains very important for the United States, of course, and so they're going to look the other way with respect to Turkish aggression.
Let's move on now to Kobani. Rebuilding Kobani city is facing many challenges. The main challenge is the Turkish siege on the canton. This Turkish obstruction, Mr. Miley, to rebuild Kobani raises the following question. What more does Turkey want from Kobani?
Well, I think that we have to understand that the situation, obviously the broader historical context of the Kurdish plight has to do with it being stuck between the strong nationalisms, the nationalism of the Turkish people, the Persian nationalism, and the Arab nationalism. The Turkish nationalism, which is linked into the political power of the Turkish state, of course, doesn't want to, is terrified of self-determination of the people in Rojava because of the extent to which this can be seen to be could possibly spread to the south of what they consider to be their sovereign territory. And so really what we have to see, and I think this is where Öcalan is absolutely right, which is we need to be moving towards a peace process in Turkey that is linked into a reimagining of the Turkish nation state. That's a very difficult task, particularly given the dynamics at work right now.
In a seminar in which you took part, you have questioned if the Rojava revolution in Syria will succeed. Let me ask you now the same question, Mr. Miley. Based on your field visit to Rojava and on the ongoing developments, what are your expectations on the Rojava revolution?
Well, I was very impressed with what I saw on the ground in Rojava. What we saw was were mobilized, a full project, a very admirable project of multiculturalism of different ethnic groups, of different religious groups, and this is a model for the region. I think that this is it's the third way between, so to speak, the imperialism on the one hand of the United States and the Allied forces, and the reactionary agenda of ISIS on the other hand. It's a third way that is the only hope for the region. However, I think it is very difficult. There's many challenges, and with respect to the revolution. The revolution has to do what it can, what it possibly can, in order to overcome its current isolation. And in order to do that, it needs to forge these alliances beyond the greater Kurdistan into the Arab world in particular. And that, I think, is the great challenge, and ultimately the survival of the revolution depends upon it.
Thomas Jeffrey Miley, the lecturer of political sociology at University of Cambridge. Thanks a lot for speaking to us on Ronahî.
Thank you for having me.